Can you see behind me? I think so. Well, can you see behind me? Let me know some hogs or a big gobbler turkey comes out behind me. Probably not if I'm talking, but you never know. Crazier shits happen. So, funny, it's tough. So many people come over and everybody wants to have fun. And real nice guy came over. We call him Thermal Dan, the hog man. He came over. He goes out and shoots hogs on people's property at nighttime all the time. And he came out last night. So here we are ripping around at nighttime. I don't know what time we got to bed. Then we had to get up at 4:30 and go after turkey. And it's like by the time you get back from that morning run hunting turkey, you're just like cross-eyed tired. And I guess then my buddy has to go into work, and he fell asleep during a conference call for his business. Oh boy. Oh well. So away it goes. You can't waste any time though, right? You can't waste any time. Now, hopefully there's not, I don't think there's too many mosquitoes right where this little spot I picked here. As we have a listen. Oh, listen to this. Random coincidental title. It caught the wild pig easily is the title of this email sent in to us. Hello, buddy. I started watching your videos about a year ago, and damn, you're a badass storyteller. I wish I had that ability. I'm a big hunter and fly fisher, and I've seen everything there is to see out there. And it would make my stories a lot more interesting if I could talk like that. I just want to say, before this encounter, since I was a kid, I've always thought that Bigfoot was as real as Santa or the Easter Bunny. And all the media I've seen and the bullshit stories and pictures I've heard and seen beat it into my head that those things are made-up stories to get publicity. Anyhow, I'm from West Virginia. I've hunted with my grandpa on his property since I could walk pretty much. This is about 6 years ago, and I just started hunting on my own, so I was 16. It was archery season, and the rut was just kicking in for the whitetails, early November. And I was hunting 300 yards away from my grandpa in a ladder stand. I didn't see anything, and returned to the house and got a call from my grandpa. He had shot and wounded a decent 8-point that we've been getting on camera since July. He was in a stand we call Old Faithful, and took a 40-yard shot at last light, and he needed help tracking. So I grabbed a flashlight and my knife out of my hunting clothes and grouped up with him. We had followed the blood trail for an hour or so, and it was becoming reduced to a drop every 10 feet or so. He had to work early the next morning. I had to get to bed, so I told him I'd stay out and I tracked until I couldn't see any more sign. It was probably 9:30 at night, and I'm alone in an old open hardwood forest on what's left of this trail with my flashlight. I noticed the woods started to thicken a bit, and that meant I'm coming up on the property line of the farm that neighbors my grandpa's property. I wasn't afraid of the dark, but I always get severe anxiety into this section of woods/brush. This is a massive farm that has dairy cows, pigs, and its own butcher shop. Anyhow, I was just crossing the property line, and I heard a pig let out this blood-curdling squeal from about a mile away. It scared the hell out of me. But I calmed down and I figured the pigs got out, and either the farmer was trying to get his ass back to the farm or a coyote had a hold of it. I walked/crawled about 20 more yards through some brush, and I heard something take a step. And before I even had to lift my head or flashlight, that pig let out another scream, this time about 30 yards from me. I fell on my ass, scared shitless, and raised my flashlight over a brush pile that was between me and the sound of the pig. And that's when I saw whatever was standing there, clear as could be, staring at me. It had to be 8 feet tall, light brown/gray, and I heard something run from where it was standing, but the thing didn't move. 1 second, gotta get some bug spray. They found me. I thought there was another one, and it was running to come and get me, but I guess it was the pig trying to get away. I shined my light back at the creature, and it let out this growl that cut right through me, unlike anything I've ever heard. I'm not afraid of black bears, and I know that you're supposed to stand your ground and make noise to scare it off. That's what it was doing to me, and it meant business. I wanted to get up and run away, but I froze and I didn't want to turn my back to it. I didn't even have time to think about the buck knife in my belt. Not that I could fend this thing off with it anyhow. The only way I could describe the way it looked is if you could imagine a less hairy, pissed off Chewbacca. I think it knew I was pissing my pants, and it looked in the direction of what I assumed was the pig that ran off and took 3 steps and was out of sight. I got up and sprinted the 2 or 3 miles back to my grandpa's house. The next day I told him that I lost the blood trail and never found the deer. I did tell him about the pig squealing in the woods on that afternoon. We went over to the farm to talk to the farmer, and he said he was missing 1 pig, and that there was no way that it should have been able to get out. We're talking about a 150-pound pig in a pen that has 4 to 5 foot tall sheets of tin that make up the walls and no door. The farmer lowers a ladder into the pen to get in and out. My grandpa suggested maybe a kid messing around, let it out, to screw with him. And that was the end of it. And to this day, I've never told him or anyone what I saw or what happened to that poor pig. It just blows my mind how fast that thing had to be going to carry or chase that pig as quickly as it did. I've done research online and read about archaeological digs and Native American mounds in my area. And a big topic is giant skeletons being dug out of these mounds and never being released to the public. I've since grown interested in Native American history, but in no way want to cross paths with that thing ever again. The emotional scar that this thing has left me with makes me not want to be out in the woods and do what I do. End of email. I get it, and that sucks ass. That sucks. And that's scary. Get out of here. So much being hidden, right? All those giant skeletons, they got pictures of them and they took them away. Where'd they take them to? What's that place again? Haven't had enough sleep. My brain's not firing that quick right now. Yep. Keep the people dumb. Don't let them know what's going on. Appreciate that share, man. Hope you're still here watching. Oh, here's all right, here we go. Listen to this. This is titled, "It Didn't Want to Get Shot." Okay, this is the second time I've told this and was hesitant about telling it now. But if you can tell your story, I can too. Right on, man. Good to hear that. In 2016, my brother and I decided to go hunting. So we planned on the following weekend. I'd come pick him up and we would go Saturday morning. No punctuation at all, so bear with me. I got up, got ready, went to the truck. I had to recheck my straps on my ATV, and I loaded the day before. And I remember it was a cold Kentucky morning. The straps had ice buildup on them. Everything was so good, so I went and picked up my brother and headed to where we were going to hunt. We've hunted there many times. There's a big strip where they had cut coal off the rock cliff. When you get to the top, you have a big holler to your left, a big open bottom, then the cliff that stretches all the way around the bottom. So I dropped my brother off a half a mile up the road. He wanted to be on the cliff watching this bottom. As I rode my ATV up the other side, so I was giving him time to get to his spot before I started up the old road, just in case I jumped one. But he shot way before getting to the cliffs. He had got a deer. I didn't know it at the time, so I was expecting him to be sitting on top as I rode by. So I start up the hill to stop, When I got halfway up, like I do all the time to load my rifle, and I had a Savage 30-06 that has a strap on it. I had it in my lap as I entered the bottom, and I was looking for my brother, which he was standing back to the truck with his deer, when I saw this thing run out of the holler about 40 yards in front of me. I was heading up and was heading to the cliffs. I freaked. I pulled my gun up and shot. I didn't know if I hit it or not. I never even looked in the scope. So this thing keeps running and went straight to the corner of this bottom between the cliffs, and it had nowhere to go at this time. Trying to figure out what I was looking at. It sits behind this little bush and was looking at me. And I'm 5'8", and this thing was just a little taller than me, and I'm shaking. So I jumped off my ATV, put my gun up, and I was going to shoot this thing. And as I looked through the scope, it had its arms up like you and I would do if something was going to hit you as if something was going to hit you to protect your face. It was trying to protect his face and looked like a scared kid, shaking and jumping at every little sound. I couldn't take the shot. It was scared just as much as I was. I lowered the gun and said, "You're all right, I'm not going to hurt you." I got back my ATV and started back off the hill, watching behind me the whole way. I told my brother about what had happened, and when I returned, he just said I was full of shit, didn't believe me. But we've hunted there many times after that, and I've never seen it again. In a way, I hope I never do. But I'd like to video it to prove it to my brother I'm not crazy. But after my encounter, I started taking a camera with me on all my hunting trips. But that was my story. Take care. There you go. Wow. Huh. Get your brother to watch your channel. Then he'll know there's nobody's trying to lie or be funny about this subject. Send him this video when you see it. Thanks for sharing that, man. Glad you didn't shoot that thing. Glad you didn't shoot it. He or her, whatever you want to call it. It's funny, I put up that video, remember the 6-foot stride video, those 2 different footprints in the dirt road, and I put that on my Instagram. Because so many people, when I put that single print the last time, said, "Where's the rest of them? How come there's not more prints?" Like, holy cow. Whatever, here you go. Excuse me, and I posted it up, and some guy right away goes, "Fake." So I never rarely read or rarely reply, but I replied and I went, "Well, fake it for us then." Right? That's the quick, simple answer. It should be the quick, simple answer for everything. Everybody screams, "Fake." Well, fake it. Should be easy, right? Fake it for us. Put them on the spot. Fake it for us, stupid. Okay. "They won't leave my home alone" is the title of this email. Hello, Steve. Your page, along with others such as Mr. Scott Carpenter, has inspired me to write about my situation that is going on at this time. If I read this, I'm going to find out. I'd also like to bring awareness to this creature and its desire to observe my children, even to the point of being captured on video, shot at twice, navigating 19 game cameras and 6 security cameras just to watch my kids. That's frickin' creepier than shit. I believe my location is important because people in my general area need to be informed. I moved to the Antlers, Atoka area of southeast Oklahoma about 4 years ago. If you'd asked me if I believed in Bigfoot while I was living in the armpit of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, I would have said, nah. A month or 2 after moving to a 40-acre ranch outside of Antlers, my wife fell asleep on the couch and woke up to what she said was someone jiggling the front doorknob. She jumped up to lock it and said when she turned around there was a shadow outside the window with a figure with a big head, long hair, and was gone in a flash. She said she could have imagined it. I blew it off. My son was 3 at the time, and I got him a battery go-kart, and his mother heard him say, "They can't catch me now." When she asked him what he meant, he said, The man who lives in the woods, he stands in my window at night and watches me sleep. He can't catch me now. I now have a 2-year-old daughter who used to throw fits to be outside till one day she ran inside, slammed the front door, and was crying. I had noticed before she goes outside, she'll poke her head out the door and look around for a minute before going outside. Oh my God, the poor thing. Huh? Rarely will she play on the playhouse that is close to the tree line. And about a year ago, I was lying in bed, not fully asleep, and I heard a melodic whistle kind of chatter. And I sat up because it sounded like it was coming from near the woods outside my bedroom. And my dogs started immediately howling. Not barking. I wouldn't come off the porch and usually are aggressive. One of my dogs bit the mail lady, the UPS man, and the neighbor. She didn't leave the porch that night. I heard the same kind of whistle chatter, but slightly different about 3 minutes after the first whistle. That really stuck with me. I Googled what I could best describe as the sound I heard, and Bigfoot talk kept coming up. Well, the other day, November 11th, my son came running into our bedroom and said, "Daddy, there's a bear outside, has a white face," and it was looking at me. I'd recently watched Missing 411 and remembered a kid describing what I believed was a Bigfoot as a bear that could talk or something like that. So I grabbed my rifle, ran outside to where he said he saw it. I didn't see anything. Now I'm wondering if my kids have seen something. A few days later, December 3rd, I recorded a shadow that appeared to be on 2 feet approaching my house. And so far, all of my recordings you can just easily blow off. I've heard some whoops, and on some of my recordings, and what sounded like wood knocks and strange behavior from my dogs. This is the first time that I had proof that something was coming up to my house. Shortly after, everything got quiet. TVs off, all the lights off, and we were going to bed. The night of the video of the shadow, I was watching a live video feed from my phone because the dogs were acting weird. I saw what appeared to be a shadow on 2 feet approaching the corner of my house. I immediately grabbed my gun. The 2 bumps that you hear in the video are me going through my bathroom and out the other door to warn my wife that I was fixing to open up the front door and shoot off a couple of warning shots. Now I have 3 sleeping children. At this time, I have my disabled father next door. It's approximately 11:30 p.m. and I don't want to be busting off shots out my front door, but I felt like I needed to try to scare this thing away. As soon as this happened, I shut the front door, called 911, told them I had an intruder in my yard, and requested a deputy. The next morning, I went to the sheriff's office to add to my report a link to the video on YouTube because I had since uploaded it so they would have access to it, and had a conversation with a couple of the deputies up there. One deputy named Branson followed me outside, and he said he wanted to talk to me outside for a minute. He said that he knew that they were out there, and they get numerous reports this time of year. A lot of people approach him directly with pictures or footage for him to review because they do not want an official police report or people from their church finding out, or to have people contacting them or coming in on their land. He gave me his personal number and told me if I had any more problems to contact him directly. I feel comfortable sharing his name and what he said to me because he did not ask me to keep this just between ourselves. He just didn't want to speak of it in front of the other deputies. And I was surprised when he contacted me the next morning at about 8 a.m. and he was curious about how my night went, if I had any more disturbances, and I told him no, and that it was a very quiet night, but it didn't last. Holy shit. I put up more wireless security cameras. So we can we catch numerous limbs breaking sounds? I put up more wireless security cameras. I think he meant we catch numerous limbs breaking sounds of something large, mass pushing through the brush. My main dog came up missing. He was the one that alerted me and that they were close. I started by putting up 6 game cameras and a bait station. I never recorded anything related to what I was trying to record. December 25th at about 9 p.m. I pulled up my camera's live feed, and I have bipedal footsteps running in short bursts, stopping and running again, and I caught a flash of eye shine on a camera so close that I could see the slots of the eyes, and I could see the pupils. I grabbed my gun, went outside with a flashlight, but didn't see anything. The next night on December 26th at approximately 7 p.m., I turned on my camera to the live feed. I saw a pair of eyes standing next to one of the pine trees in my front yard near my kids' playhouse. I think I read all this a long time ago. I think this guy's, he's had a YouTube channel, didn't he? It's a long time ago. Now this is where it's going to get interesting. This is also when I realized just how much I'd underestimated the intelligence and instant reaction these things possess. I grabbed my big flashlight and a Kimber 45 Crimson. I head outside, shining my light, looking for the figure that I saw on camera. I walked between the pine trees in my kids' playhouse, shining my light out into the pasture. I didn't see anything, so I'm back inside. About 20 minutes later, I pulled up my camera's live feed, and something had put an object in front of my camera. Grabbed the flashlight, grabbed the gun, went back outside, and I was standing approximately 15 feet from my kids' playhouse area, shining my light on the playhouse while keeping my flashlight on the playhouse. I reached down with my right hand gun to unholster my pistol, cocked the hammer, and proceeded to look around. I didn't see or hear anything yet. Again, I was reviewing my video footage that was recorded while I was outside after I went back to the house, and upon review of the video I just recorded, the camera on the playhouse that picked up the eye shine had also picked up a shadow that was cast onto my horse cover by my flashlight. What I didn't realize when I was focused on unholstering my pistol and cocking the hammer, this thing was hidden behind my playhouse. I stood up and relocated to another area of the playhouse for more cover in the few seconds that I was looking down at my gun. It saw me looking down at my gun and instantly took advantage of that moment to stand up and relocate, and crossed right in front of my flashlight beam. I never heard it. I went back to review the video the first time that I went outside. You can see it cast a shadow the first time. It was a juvenile. I think I was so focused on looking for a 9 to 10 foot Sasquatch that I never saw a small juvenile. Well, the third time I didn't even bother going outside. I grabbed my AR-15 with a night vision scope, had the wife throw open the front door, and I already had my gun pointed at the playhouse area. Through my night vision scope, I could see it standing behind the playhouse looking at me through the slats on the railing. And right when I pulled the trigger, it darted to the right and was gone. And believe it or not, it actually came back the same night. Yeah, I remember this made a lot of traffic online, I think, all this man's family and the videos. The next day, December 27th, a total of 19 game cameras were installed around the perimeter and upgraded to a total of 6 wireless security cameras. That night, about 7 p.m., I think he meant one of my game cameras recorded a figure walking behind the playhouse. I started wondering why the focus is on the playhouse. We had a lot of company. My nieces, my nephews on December 23rd and 24th, and the focus of their activities was on the playhouse area. I was going through some of my recordings from then. I had a few videos that were set off by the motion of my horses. I noticed that the horses were moving away at a brisk pace from the tree line. I zoomed in on this area, and in 4 videos taken on December 24th at 10:30 a.m., I can see 2 large adult-sized Sasquatches that are taking turns observing the children from an observation point behind a leaning tree. I had this video footage recorded for days before even realizing what it was. And I believe this to be the mother and the father of the juvenile that approached the playhouse on the 25th and 26th. And I believe they are just curious. What bothered me about the whole situation was, I was told the majority of the time when they become aware that you're aware of them, they usually move on. They are very persistent, installing all the game cameras and security cameras only changed how they approached my house. Shooting 4 shots after the first shadow figure on December 3rd, is shooting at the juvenile standing behind my playhouse on December 26th didn't deter them one bit. I became concerned because her focus was on the children. I made a hard decision, took my kids out of school while they were still on Christmas break, and relocated them and my wife to our mother's house in Arkansas until I could figure out a solution. When my wife and children were gone for 2 weeks, the activity began to stop, so I brought the kids back to the house for the weekend. They arrived on a Friday. Saturday night I was reviewing footage from the day, and lo and behold, there he is, standing behind the same leaning tree again. This was very disturbing to me because they had to be close enough to my house to hear the children. At this time, my wife and children visit, but are all still in Arkansas. I installed numerous infrared lights. I've cut back the brush to the woods surrounding my house. When my children are outside, I patrol the tree line with a semi-automatic tactical shotgun loaded with Black Magic Magnum slugs. Our situation is improving, but it's ongoing. End email. Okay, now I forget the name, I forget the channel. I do remember this guy got angry at this channel for some reason. Don't know, I never contacted the guy. But he was on, I think, who's that guy that died? Super nice guy, I believe, never met him or talked to him. Carey? Something Carey? First name, last name Carey? And they really publicized this guy's story quite a while ago. I wonder what's up with the kids, the kid thing. Pretty creepy, isn't it? Looking in bedrooms of kids all the time, watching them play and shit. I know 2 little kids back home in Pemberton, and there's 4 of them playing soccer by Lillooet Lake. And they said that like a dirty hairy man was sitting on the ground of the timber, like up against a tree, watching them play, and they got up and walked away into the forest when they noticed it. But there you go, take for what you will and leave it, right? Take from it what you will and leave it. That's a pretty tough thing for a lot of people. In any topic, anywhere. It's a pretty tough thing for a lot of people to do. Okay, I'm going to read one more. Then I'm going to go see about maybe flying my drone up and whipping around that lake maybe. See if we can spot an alligator or something after this. I may have read this too, I'm not sure. I got a bunch of stuff mixed up in my notes, as usual. Penned up for 40 years. My name is Eric. And as a young man at the age of 16 in the late fall of '79, I was followed by Bigfoot. A friend and I decided to share our profits from running to... Yep, read this. Read it. I read it. Did I read this? So many noises in the forest around here. Yes, loggers see them. Oh, we know that. I'm a loyal follower of Blacktail Hunter. I admire your passion, honesty, and enjoy your hunt stories. Also, your hunting tips are spot on. They mirror many tactics I've learned in the 50 years I've been hunting blacktails. I live in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest. I hunt the triangle between Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams, and Mount Rainier. I've been a timber cutter for 40 years. In the last 15 years, I've been cutting danger trees for the Forest Service, and mostly in the national parks. 4 years ago, I was cutting some old growth in the mountains about 30 miles from the town of Packwood. It was the middle of June, and due to the hot weather and humidity, we had to stop cutting around noon. So we would start most mornings around 3:34 a.m. And one morning I was working on a tree that had fallen the previous day. The first rays of light were starting to shine through in front of me. I was about halfway through my first cut of chest-high Douglas fir when a chill came over me. This happened a few times in my life. Happened while in big timber, either working or hunting. And every time I've gotten this chill, I stop and check my surroundings. The feeling either goes away, or I get the hell out of the woods. This time I kept working and I tried to ignore the feeling of being watched, but I couldn't. I also started surveying my surroundings, first looking over each shoulder, then to my sides. It was still too dark to see more than 30 feet, and I looked in front of me towards the light coming in from the road and saw what I felt was watching me. It was about 50 yards away, standing facing me. and all I could see was the huge silhouette. No face, just the black form with the light behind it. And even at 50 yards, I was looking up at it. We were on level ground. I didn't panic, and somehow continued. Sorry. I didn't panic and somehow continued to saw the log, not wanting it to know I saw it. I continued to look for what seemed like minutes. It was only seconds. And then I had to look again, and when I did, it was gone. I instantly pulled my saw from the tree, kept it running, and headed for the crummy. At a 45-degree angle away from where it stood. I came out of the timber, slid down the bank to the road, and got into the crummy. I honked the horn until my partner came out to see what the hell I was carrying on about. I told what I saw and said I was done for the day. He turned white and jumped in the crummy, leaving his saw in the woods, saying, "Let's go, let's go." I asked if he saw it too, and he said no, but it seen him. He said when he was fueling his saw, he got a feeling something was watching him, and he tried to ignore it, but when he heard my saw moving through the woods towards the road, he dropped his and headed towards the road as well. When I honked, he started running, feeling like he was being chased. We drove up the road to a turnaround and drove down past where we were working. It was the only way out. When we passed the spot I was cutting, the adrenaline was high in both of us. We couldn't talk, and I almost got sick to my stomach. We both took 3 days off. I went back the following Monday to retrieve our stuff, never finishing bucking the trees we had down there. Still across the Pacific Northwest Trail, hikers have to climb over or go around them. And I know what I saw, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I have a whole different attitude when I'm in the timber now, and 75% of me is focused on what I'm doing, and the other 25% is watching my back. Never wanting to have that cold feeling again. The mountains and big timber are such a big part of me. I can't stay away from them. I just have to accept that I'm not the alpha male. My cutting partner gave up cutting and lives somewhere in California now, and I know he's a believer like me. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Rick. I wonder how many loggers out there are watching, but they're not saying shit, but they know, right? I know a lot of loggers. And I know a lot of loggers that have seen, they've seen or they know. I think one of the first loggers I ever met just talked about it like it was a frickin' deer. Old girlfriend of mine years ago on the island, and her dad was at the time the oldest known faller at the time, still falling. So he'd seen some shit, right? And she goes, "Yeah, I think my dad saw one of those things." I'm like, "Really?" "No way." She goes, "Yeah, go ask him." Okay. He's just sitting there, kind of a gruff guy. And he goes, I go, "So, you know anything about Sasquatch? The Sasquatch Bigfoot thing going on?" Didn't even blink. Goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen one. Wouldn't mind figuring out where those things winter sometime and going and watching them." And he just kept on watching the TV, and I'm like, "What? No way." Because this is a long time ago, right, where I wasn't really talking to people about it after seeing myself. And then what he said was happening was, it was outside of Port Renfrew. Again, Port Renfrew, right? That place is on fire. And they were going up the Gordon River, Maine. And there is a pile of incidents around Gordon River. A lot. Still to this day. And he said, they're in the crummy. For all you guys that don't know what a crummy is, it's a pickup truck. It's just the crew truck for loggers. And they're in the crummy in the dark. I can't remember if he said they were going in or coming out, but it was dark. And they said they saw eyes shining above the alders on the side of the road. Figured it was a deer or something up on the bank, but then they all realized that there's no bank on the road right here. This thing was towering over the alders, looking at them, and they stopped, and it walked right across, stopped in the middle of the road, and stepped off and into the darkness on the other side right in front of them. They all saw it. Truckload of loggers. Imagine how many. Imagine how many of you guys are watching right now, and and aren't going to say anything. Probably a lot. Probably a lot. What else? What's this? Uh-oh. Somebody's seen something. I'm gonna mark this as bread. Uh-oh. Oops. Subject. Read ASAP, please. April 14th, 2025. Bigfoot in front of you. Hey, Steve. You can read this aloud if you'd like, and you can use my name aloud as well, LOL. My name is Eric Shippert, and I watch your channel quite a bit and look for anything interesting behind you or around you when you're out in the field. You can't see anything for yourself. I watch your channel on my 60-inch TV, and I use Bose noise-canceling headphones to listen. So your latest video, I started watching, and I can see everything huge on my TV, and I can spot anything that most can't, either on their computer, tablet, or a cell phone because the screen is so small. But on my TV, anything and everything shows up. So, I'm watching the video, shot in the face through the window that you posted on April 14th, 25. And when I get to about 31 seconds, I'm looking across the stream and looking for anything black, big and black. It's alright. I'm not freaked out, I'm just wondering if there's going to be a hog or two. I can hear all the birds, everything fine. Just keep hearing the odd crackle crunch. Could be armadillos or whatever, but you gotta look. Sorry. When I get to about 31 seconds, I'm looking across the stream and look for anything black. And big and black, or little and black. And I see a few things, so I'm curious. So I go to my computer, bring up your video. Excuse me, I go to 31 seconds and I start watching it. I can see something or the outline of something, and it looks like it's cloaking. And darn good too. So I take a snapshot of it on my computer. I bring up my picture program and start running the picture through the filters. And the first filter I use is called inverted. And oh my God, I see a huge, what looks like Bigfoot sitting right in front of you across on the bank watching you fish. I can't believe what I'm seeing. So I started taking snapshots of what I've captured. And it's a sitting Bigfoot from your video. I know we can't see them cloaking with our own eyes, but the cameras and video cameras can pick them up because cameras are created with a spectrum that we don't have. And that's why the cameras can see them. I don't know if all the time, but I've spotted many in videos that others can't see or find. So I attached the snapshots that I took from your video. You can see it for yourself. Thanks, Eric Shippert, Illinois, USA. Well, that's a little odd, isn't it? A little odd. I could never say what the hell that is myself because I've never had something cloak in front of me and say, hey, look at me right here, I'm cloaking, so you know. I don't know. I'm not trying to be funny, I'm serious. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sleuths out there, I mean on the channel, they're possibly going to go take a look at that and see if they come up with the same image, I don't know. I do know one thing though, that day I did hear something. Downriver and across, both me and the dog heard it. I still got the video somewhere. I just haven't had time to go over it because I think I left to come here that same day. But we heard something across the river, downriver for sure at the same time. I don't know what it was. And then it was farther upriver from where we were fishing, where we crossed, and she started going frickin' bonkers. But you never know. I don't know. If that's what it is, am I overly concerned? Not really. Not really. I accept the fact that I've had a slap in my face. Shit's going on out here. Nothing I can do about it, so just keep talking about it openly and learning from everybody and concentrate on doing what we love to do, no matter what, right? Anybody see anything behind me yet? And then cross the road. Anyway, I think now I'm going to find my way to that little lake. And I'm not going to drive out there though. I'm going to stay back so nothing around that lake can hear me. I got a little side-by-side here with me. And then I'm going to flat my drone and see if maybe we can spot a big alligator or something in there. Who knows what? I don't know. But I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll share that video here after I stop babbling. What day is it today? Thursday, April 17th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think I have to go pick up Mr. Rourke Denver, I think. From the airport, possibly. And then we got 5 days of just being guys running around the woods. That should be fun and interesting. Can't wait to talk to him, have some conversations with him, see what he knows, see what he's willing to talk about, if anything. Who knows, maybe he's got zero curiosity on this topic. I don't know, we're going to find out. Anyway, share my story at howtohunt.com. Quit holding it back, especially you loggers, and I know there's a bunch of you guys hanging here. I know. I don't even have to be told. I know you're here watching and you're not saying shit. Say it anyway. Don't be a chicken. Okay, let's go see what we can find. I'll be back tomorrow, more than likely. Yep. And down he goes. Looks like Snakeville down there, but I better go have a look at that hog. This is 17, what's it called? 17 MHR. One there.
thing go. I saw him flopping around. Oh, here he is. Huh. Man, this place is shredded up by the hogs. Holy, what a great spot. There we go. No guessing what's going to happen in the south when you run around the woods. And that's what you call hog sign. Shredding the place up. Bet there's more around here.